What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode to talk about Transformers. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Unique Toys Peru kill. This is a KO, as you can tell by the lovely box. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Take a look at the box. It's been a minute since we saw a box on this channel, and this one is so exciting. Look at that. I'm very happy. Chameleon is very happy that he's on this box. He's so happy he's on it twice. And he's the only thing on it except for some written in numbers. There you go. There's the top. There's the clamshell. That's so exciting. There's the box. So put that off to the side and take a look at the car. And I realized that I did not fold one of his toes in last time I transformed him. So we are going to fix that right now. And bam, it is fixed. Fantastic. So now we'll take a look at the car mode. Go ahead and angle. There we go. Take a look at the car mode. Starting here on the side, you've got the turn signals picked out. I wonder if these are also turn signals because the back of the car is wider than the front. So if you were directly behind it, you'd have to have those blinking to see it. And then you've got the little brakes in there with the calipers in orange. I'm not into cars. I don't do cars terminology, but I think that's what those are. You got the discs and the pads, at least. The rims look really cool the way they are designed. The little star pattern almost looks like some kind of flower or snowflake. You've got molded in door handles there, and everything just looks really good. I got a couple scratches on the window, but that's fine. Coming around to the front, you've got molded in venting, some clear, transparent plastic windows, and then just, bumper and grill and all this stuff. Around this side, it's the same. Anyone who's noticed it by now, yes, I have the mirrors taken out. I just don't feel like changing them every time I transform it. And I'm really afraid my big clumsy fingers are going to drop one, so I just took them out. And if you remember my higher review, his I ended up cutting off, so it works out for me. Here's the back. You've got more of that molded in grilling. You've got this silver paint here for like the license plate and clear transparent plastic for the taillights, and you've got molded details down in there to kind of make it, look like the different sections in the car. Coming up to the back of the car, you've got your little window there. Going down, just some panel lines and the like, and then there's the front windshield and the hood. It looks really good for what it is. You're never going to get away from the panel lines, but I think they've done a good job kind of trying to blend them in. The Hires is better, but I think that has something to do with the plastic being black. It just helps hide those lines better. So this guy's just, at probably about the same level of competence as far as fitting the lines into the design, just a brighter color. And there he is from the bottom. Got some legs and some hands and his faux chest panel. And that's about it for vehicle mode. There he is. He rolls. He's got the rubber tires, so he rolls very smoothly on those pinned rubber tire wheels. Just very nice for that. So there he is in car mode. We'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons, and then we'll get into his accessories, and then we'll get into his transformation. Alrighty, so there he is with the Rubik's Cube, with the Gormagala statue, with our Volkswagen Bumblebee, with my last movie masterpiece review, and his fellow Lamborghini Hot Rod, aka La Hire, or the other way around if you will, from the last night. So there you go, there you have that. You've seen it before. And there he is with the next masterpiece car I'm gonna review, I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking that he's gonna be New Year's Day, so we'll keep an eye out for that, guys. And I think that about wraps it up for our vehicle mode size comparisons. Well, I lied to you guys. I'm going to do one more size comparison with the, I believe they referred to these as steel jaws in the movie. There he is with the steel jaw he comes with. This is the first time I've actually done anything with it besides put it back in the box if it fell out. I don't care about these things at all. I don't really care about anything that doesn't transform. And I know he had the pets in the movie, but it still doesn't make me want to play with it. I like to get my figures out and transform them, and that's where the fun part comes in. But there he is with one of his steel jaws, and that's a nice segue. We'll go ahead and get into some accessories, but we're not going to start off with the steel jaw. We are instead going to take a look. Get out of the frame, steel jaw. Get out of the frame. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the instruction sheet. It is a KO, so it is just a little sheet that I haven't looked at all because I had an original Peru kill at one point, but I ended up selling it to my brother. I ended up getting this guy to replace it, so there's your instruction sheet in case you're curious. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I haven't, one of these days I should actually follow this instruction sheet and see if they're missing any steps. But that's for a different day. He comes with a baggie, two different baggies, but I put the little one in the big one. He comes with a baggie of accessories, so go ahead and take a look at these. First we'll go through the little baggie. There's his side view mirrors. I didn't lose them. I have them, I promise. There he is, his little baggie. And it's got an alternate face, which I will not be taking his face off and showing them plugged in, because getting the seam line on this is a little difficult. So there's your look. This is his normal stock face as far as I'm aware. This is what it came with. I did buy it used, but I think my original version came with this. I like the mask better, so. But you got nice gold paint, lots of molded details. His eyes are vibrantly green, just a metallic green paint that really pops against the gray. It looks good. It plugs in via a tab there, and there you go. It almost looks like from the back that green is plastic, and then they painted it on just the front of the eyes metallic. Here's the seed from the movie. If you watch the movie, you recognize it. Gonna cyberform some stuff. I can't remember the exact term they used, but that's what I would call it. And it's got some nice molded details. And that's it for the little baggie, so we'll go ahead and put this back in here, so that way it doesn't roll away and get lost in the pile of Lego boxes under my table. I'm very bad with these Ziplocky clips. Alright, we'll go ahead and dump out this. And this, these two side view mirrors, this is what they look like. They're just molded. There's no silver paint or anything here to make it look reflective. And you would just plug them in and angle them however you wanted. So we'll keep these out so I can show you what to do with them in robot mode if you want to do it in robot mode. Excuse me. Here we have a little hook thing. He used it to climb the grain silo, and I think he hooked it into Optimus's shoulder at one point to drag him around. It's very lockdown type weapon. Had a hook for a hand in animated, which is where he originated. And then I saw, before I knew where he originated, I saw a G1 type IDW type figure on YouTube, so I assumed he was a G1 character, and my brother corrected me oh so graciously. And so now I know he originated in animated, and at some point he ends up with a hook for a hand. So there, your lockdown has a hook. Nowhere to store this in vehicle. There is a tab back here, but it is not for the hook. And I don't see anywhere, there's nowhere under here that it's going to fit. The reason this guy is relatively the same size as Hot Rod in vehicle mode and then is way bigger in robot mode is because I used all the real estate to fit the robot into. And it's not gonna go in any of the holes I see, so we'll put it off to the side. We'll take a look at his last two accessories. If I can get my camera to cooperate, there we go. So there, slide all this over. There's his big old face gun. This can attach in vehicle mode. You can plug the tab into the slot that you guys have been seeing. Or maybe it's this one up here. Well, in the original you could. This is not holding very tightly at all, but you were able to plug it in. At least if you want to display it this way, I don't know why you would. You can balance it on here, but that doesn't plug in like it used to. Maybe it wasn't here. I swear it plugged in. Oh well. Oh, there we go. That's right. You gotta fold down the actual handle, and that'll plug into it. There we go. My brain worked finally. So you can have the big old gun on the roof. We'll get locked down out of the way real quick and bring in his pupper dog, because you can fold the handle back up, because I'm not going to need it again. I'm not going to put it in his hand. Was that forward or backward? It's definitely backward. There we go. You can actually take this slot here. There's a tab on the back of his dog. So if you wanted to, his dog could be running around gatting things with his big old head cannon. So there you go. We'll go ahead and take a look at the cannon's details. Lots of molded details. You got little bits picked out in gold, some orangey bronze bullets down there. You got some, kind of tubes and everything. It looks pretty close to his actual gun face in the movie, and in order to attach it, we're going to end up pulling it to get it around his head. So there's a spring loaded pull system in there, so that's that. We'll go ahead and take a look at this steel jaw. Now, I bought it used and it came with two more, so I couldn't tell you if this is the one that actually came with him or if one of the other two did, but this is the one that's in the box. So the guy seemed pretty good at wrapping everything up, so I think he was able to put them back where they came from. But if you see another review of a KO and the dog does not look like this, then that is what happened. But he's got nice faded kind of smoky paint on the brown body. The head and the lower section of each leg and the foot are all just kind of a gunmetal black. He's got red painted beady eyes. Looks very ferocious. Look at those teeth. Those teeth are not very friendly at all. Ooh, bumped my camera. For articulation, he's got an opening jaw. You can get open at a nice howl type thing. These kind of look like hyenas. But he's got a ball joint. It's connected in the body, so the stem is on the head, and that stem is also a hinge where it connects to the head, so you can do all kinds of stuff. You can get them looking up, and then you've got the howl. I want to say the hinge for the jaw is on the same hinge that ball joint is. So of course it can be a swivel, turn side to side, the works. You've got ball joints. I want to say they're ball joints. Yes, ball joints in the legs, so you can get a little bit of outward movement. You can rotate full 360. There is no swivel at the upper part of the limb, so that ball joint is all the twist you're going to get. You've got this mid-limb joint here. I don't know if I would call it an elbow on a dog, but it goes about 90 degrees. And then you've got another ball joint here at the foot, so that's a swivel. It gets you tilts, it gets you a little up, it gets you a lot back. So that would be, good for trying to do your howling pose, however you'd want to do that. So I'm just going to straighten his legs out, because after this, well, I'm going to have to size comparison with the robot, so we'll bend them back up. Same on the other front leg, and then the back leg has also got a ball joint at the hip, so you get a similar round amount of tip twist there. And then you've got your forward and back. It can do a full 360, but it was rubbing, so I don't know if you'd want to do that. No official swivel again, it's just this hip ball joint, and then you only have one joint in the leg. There's no joint here, So you just got it at the knee, like the first knee. Technically, this is a knee and this is like an ankle, and this is all supposed to be foot. If this is a true digitigrade structure of feet, but he's got the one joint and it goes over 90 degrees because you can get it to this unnaturally forward position all the way back to a nice 90-degree bend. And then the foot on the back is the same as the front. It is the same exact component, if I'm not mistaken. Just looking at the bottom, it might be a little smaller, but they use the same file and they just made two molds of it, then one bigger and one smaller, if one is indeed bigger or smaller. The back ones do look a little smaller, but that could just be me. So that's it for his accessories. And we've done our size comparisons, so the only thing left to do is to go ahead and get into the transformation. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Alrighty, to start off transforming this guy, what I usually do is just pop the feet here from the sides. You can do it one leg at a time. I'll go ahead and do it one leg at a time. And then we're going to bend the foot down so this panel's out of the way. And then there's a little ball joint in here, and we're going to rotate this whole panel down at it. Double hinge here, fold them down together. Just kind of push it up against the leg. Then we're going to take his rear taillight section, split it, and they're on ball joints or swivels and hinges. Those are swivels. Okay, so it's on a swivel and a hinge, and I want to say that the swivel itself is on another hinge, so it's not a double hinge so much, but it works kind of like one. So you're going to double hinge it away, use the swivel to rotate it down and get it into place. You're going to have two slots here, but only one tab on this side for the transformation. This one's going to have the peg that would go into the extra slot over here, which is why there's two slots on it. So that's that. And then we're going to go ahead. I don't like this joint. This joint is useless. It doesn't need to be here, and I tried to glue it shut. So if you see the glue, that's why that's there. You can go ahead and straighten the leg out, flip this panel up to complete the back of the foot, and then fold his toe in like it was at the beginning of the video. And there you have one leg all done. So we'll go ahead and run through that again on this side real quick. Pop it out, fold the foot, flip the panel down, fold it in half, and then rotate this around. You've got just one slot in that derelict peg there, and that actually just goes into the hinge on this side, so that's pretty smart that they were able to do that without having to make a dedicated port. Then you just straighten it out and fold up the front and back of the foot. And there you got his lower legs all done. And so we're going to take a break from the legs because I like to keep them plugged in until I get more done up here. We're going to dislocate the bumper here. You've got a tab on each side that's going into a slot in the bumper, and we're actually going to use the double hinge it's on to put it in the same spot it was, just up a level. So, you know, and then there's a little bit of molded, angled curvature there to let it sit nice and flat. Once we have done that, we'll go ahead to the bottom. This is his front skirt piece. We're gonna pull it forward, and there's two slots here that were pegged into a tab on each arm, so that's gonna free the arms up. This is gonna slide forward like so and bend up. What do I want to do next? We'll go ahead and take his arms and fold them out of our way. We can fold his windows. These are his windows. Just get them perpendicular with this section, and then we'll finally unplug the legs back here, and we're going to take this rear panel on a double hinge. There's two different tabs down here that will actually plug into the bottom of this spine panel, so you want to push it down until it actually plugs in, and then we will fold the hood back. There's a hinge here, and this tab on the front is going to line up with that tab we plugged the gun into, and you're going to want to make sure that you line the bottom panels up. These were touching in car mode, and now they're going to be parallel with each other. Plug that in, give the hinge that we pulled apart a squeeze to tighten that up. And then you've got 2 pegs here that are going to go into 2 slots that was also holding the car together. And that all holds fairly solidly, but you've got 2 holes here and a peg on each of the windows. You peg them in to complete his hip armor skirting, and there you have his waist section and most of his torso complete. We'll go ahead and fold up his butt so we can rotate his legs. The reason I'm folding it up is because when you're trying to get his legs back together, these panels are spring-loaded. I find it easier to fold the butt panel up and get the spring-loaded panels mushed up against this molded detail back here while you can see, and then fold it back down and then plug it in. So I fold it up also on the way back through. Rotate his legs. These will spring out, fold his butt back down, and then we're going to rotate his knee down both sides so he's getting some height now. And I'm going to have to angle my camera up. So here we are at the top. I'll go ahead and do his arms. You're going to unpeg them from the side. There is a tab and a slot. You're going to angle them back on this series of hinges, and it will thump into place. Then rotate his arm forward, or no, rotate the whole fixture around, then rotate his arm forward, and you've got this little hinged structure here. You're going to rotate the arm down, and there's a hole in here and a peg there, so you're going to rotate that around and lock it into place. Now, I've seen some people complain that that gets rid of the bicep swivel, and it does, but there's a swivel under the elbow, so it kind of works the same, and then it's much more secure. So we've got one arm done. We'll do the same on the other side. Untab, fold back, click it into place, rotate this forward, fold the arm around, rotate it inward so that way this lines up, and tab it into place. So that's his arms mostly done. We'll go ahead and fold his hands out. There, the thumb is in a notch on this side, so when you fold it out or folding it back up, just make sure that you have it turned around and folded down, because that's how it's going to fit in. So there it is, and then his whole hand spins around to be in the proper orientation. And we're going to go ahead and just give him a fist here and rotate his arm down. Then you've got this shoulder piece is going to rotate forward and then angle in, and then this one is going to angle up. And then this little hole right here is where you would plug your side view mirror. If you had it still where it was in car mode, it would be down here on the foot, and you could leave it there if you wanted. That looks awkward, so if you transformed it and you didn't want it there, you could parts form it up into a shoulder and just have it tucked up in there where it's not really going to be seen, or you could just put it in a baggie and have a car without them. So that's my option. That's what I chose to do. We'll go ahead and transform his other hand. And there, now we just have to do his chest. For the chest, it's on a double hinge up here, so we're going to angle it up and pull it forward. This part of his chest is on a panel that rotates, so we're going to rotate it out of the way to get his head through, and then close it back up, and you've got 2 tabs and 2 slots, so you're going to rotate it down into place and just make sure that it gets all tabbed in together. This is spring loaded, so just make sure that his stomach is pressed together. It doesn't seem like it's tapped in all the way. It is, okay. And then fold these 2 panels off to the side. Angle his head forward again, so that way he doesn't look like he's just leaned back. And there you have Peru Kill in his robot mode. And that is just fantastic. The transformation is very easy and nice to do, and it results in this really great robot mode. So we'll go ahead and zoom in and take a look at the details. Gonna have to angle up again. Alright, so here he is. He's got his mask face on. It's my preferred face for him. And you've got some more little gold highlights in there. Coming down to the chest, he's got blue here to mimic where the headlights are ended up with some gold details. He's got the scratch, no Lamborghini logo. It's not an official licensed product, so that's why that's not there. If you could find one that fits it, cut it in half and slap it on there, then you could do that and be pretty happy. You've got more of that bronzy, bullety color, and then some straight up orange in there. It's not the metallic, so it is just orange details. And there's more of that down on his body as we go lower. There's more gold details on his arms, some more gold and coppery details on the waist and torso area. Moving him up here, the legs. You've got some silver spring-like details picked out with more of that gold. There's some of that orange. It's not metallic. Then you've got some gold on the toes, spinning them around. You can see the turn signals from the car is still there, but not much else painted on the side other than the bullets on these parts of his arm. And then going up the back, he's got some more orange paint there and lots of nice molded details. Like that spine is great, and it's not, there's not a lot of visible car left. You've got the windows on the side skirts, but if you didn't know there were windows, it's not extremely obvious that's what they are. You've got the backs of his legs have bumper panels there, which are accurate to the movie to some degree. And then you've got these panels all folded up, so they don't really look like much of anything. And then you've got the rest of the side of the car on the backs and bottom of his feet, but pretty much everything else, you got tires poking out in a couple of places. Pretty much everything else just hides away though on this guy. So we'll go ahead and zoom out, rotate back down, and we'll take a look at his articulation. Trying to keep my camera out of the way of looking at my light, so we'll reposition it here because he's a big boy. Articulation wise, his head moves forward and back on the hinge. It's not at the base of the head though, it's at the base of the neck, so he can kind of look hunched in certain poses. You can barely turn his head even with the other face on. The chin bumps up against all this shoulder stuff, so he can't really turn his head that much. Full 360 degree rotation at the shoulder might bump this panel out of the way. Go out about 90 degrees. You've got that 360 at the elbow I mentioned, so that kind of acts as your bicep swivel of sorts. Then you've got a 90-degree elbow bend. The wrist is on a swivel, like I said before, and then the fingers are all connected to each other on a base pin and one knuckle, and the thumb's on this ball joint that lets it rotate and move down. So basically the only pose his hand looks good in is straight open or a fist, because it's not super articulated. His waist swivel is under his waist. It's right here, if you can see the cut moving. So there's the cut, and it goes about that far before it stops. So it'll get you some tilt, not the full range, but some. His legs don't go up super far unless you start giving them the split look. The butt plate will move out of the way so they can go back all the way, and then they only go out to the side this far if they're straight out. So his hip joints leave something to be desired, but mostly in the movie he just kind of walked menacingly at you, so it's good enough. He's got technically he's got a double joint at the knee if this joint isn't glued together, but it doesn't snap in. It's not ratcheted. It's a very loose hinge, so I would have preferred if it pegged in or if it just didn't exist at all, because it bothers me more than it helps, because going back forward now he's got a chicken leg look because this is so weak that the ratchet is so strong that you have to actually hold it in the section you're ratcheting. But there's that. He's got a thigh swivel. This hip component is separate from the rest of the leg, so he's got a decent thigh swivel. I almost forgot that. Glad I didn't. And then for feet, he's got tilts in, and then you could move it up and down because of the transformation. So you get a little bit of up, you get a decent amount down, and then you can move this panel around in the back just to kind of lost my train of thought. I lost my brain Where's my brain? Just to kind of help with the posing. So there he is in his robot mode. There's his articulation done. We'll go ahead and take a look at his accessories, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons and some final thoughts. So here we go. I'm not really going to show the steel jaw off in robot mode because it pretty much is just going to be the size comparison. But here's his gun. I want to say it stores on his back. There's a little slot on his gun that you can plug in to some tabs on his back plate that also plugged into the legs. I've not done this on this version, so I don't know how well it works, so we're going to give it a try if I can find there. So there, his gun. Good store on his back. Hooray. And there's one on each side. So if you fold the handle down, you can wrap his little skeleton hand through it, but I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is the gun face. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this out. You're going to pull this apart, and this tab in here, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. We're going to fold this down. We're going to pull it apart, and the tab in here is going to go into this slot in the back of his head. Come on. And then you just push it back together, and it'll sit like that. And then there's a tab on the post that I was trying to plug into his car mode, and it goes into the slot at the top of his spine just to kind of finish the look off. And there he is with his ridiculous gun face. We'll go ahead and bend him at the knees and have him kneel down just so you can see it, and I don't have to mess with my camera again. There he is. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. And there he is with his gun face. And like I said, it's just big and ridiculous, and it does look like the gun face from the movie, so that's cool. As far as his other accessories, I'm just going to describe a couple while I get this off of here. He can't really hold the seed, so in robot mode and in vehicle mode, there's not a whole lot you can do with it. It's more of, hey, this is from the movie this guy was in. His knees not cooperating. Oh, that's because that wasn't folded all the way. His knee is clicked out too far. There we go. Go ahead and unplug this. Ugh. Put it out to the side. So yeah, his knees, or his seed, isn't very useful. Like I said, I'm not going to take the face mask off, but if you wanted to get it off, there's the seam. You just got to kind of get in there with a fingernail or a tool and start to pry it apart. I just don't feel like dealing with that on camera. So it's in the bag now, but there he is with his other face. That totally saves it. And then if you want to hook his hook hand on, I'm going to fold his hand up real quick because we'll have to have it folded up in car configuration. You can put it on him. There is another, again, a little tab on there, and I want to say that it goes in the slot that the gun spine connector goes into, so that's nice. But you'll just take it, there's a hole in the bottom of his hand, and you plug it on here. And there, he's got his hook hand. You can fold it out. And there it is. We'll put it this way. And then you can rotate the hand around to get it however you want it. Just watch your thumb. And then just kind of mush the fingers back up against his arm. And you can kind of rotate it so he can have it out like this, or he could lift it up like this. You know, just your standard hand claw, I guess, because hand claws are standard. So there he is with his claw weapon. Get him standing straight. We'll get him looking kind of at the camera, and we'll go into size comparisons so you can see him with the steel jaw, which is basically all the steel jaw does is just pose with him. And we'll go ahead and get into that. Here he is with the Rubik's Cube. There you have him with the Gormagala statue. There he is with your Bumblebee movie Bumblebee. Alrighty, and there you have him with the Last Night Hot Rod in his robot mode. And so you can, once again, just like in the hot rod video, just see the size difference compared to the vehicle mode difference, and a slightly bigger car turns into a much bigger robot because they took all the available space and put robot stuff in it, versus Hot Rod, who had the opening doors with the seats and all that. So that's how they got away with that. And there he is with New Age Mista, aka Dark of the Moon Soundwave, and that thing is a trip to transform, I tell you. Just, it's not hard, but has so many different panels and everything like that that it's just it's a journey. But you guys will see that in the next masterpiece review. So there you go. And last but not least, there he is with MP44 mold, my new standard robot only comparison, because I like him so much. And you can see that Lahire is no slouch. He is a pretty big boy, standing a little taller than Masterpiece Optimus Prime, if I'm being honest. So there you have that. Quick little edit in here. A second ago I called Peru Kill Lahire. I know that his name is Peru Kill. I don't know if this is going to make a difference, but I'm going to correct it now, and we'll see if it ends up in the comments. And here's a comparison I almost forgot. There he is with his steel jaw, so you can see just how tall he gets compared to his little pet things that he uses to attack people. Alrighty, final thoughts wise, the figure itself is great. I like the majority of the accessories. The seed is useless, except for as a prop, and you might like that. So, you know, it's fun that they included it. I don't care. Most people are probably going to enjoy the steel jaw. I don't care. I don't like the steel jaw. It doesn't transform. It looks like a little hyena bear dog, and like, I never really saw him interacting with them in the film, other than sicking him on some humans. So, like, we never really saw them fighting a robot, just getting blatted by Bumblebee, pretty much. So, the inclusion of the steel jaw, I feel like they could have left that out and lowered the price of the original figure quite a bit. Back to the figure himself. The claw weapon, I really like it. I like the look of it. I like his big old face gun. The only weapon I'd probably ever display on a shelf with him, though, is the claw. It just fits the character from its roots, and I like the way that it looks, and he did use it in the movie for a variety of things, grabbing, climbing. So, you know, it's pretty versatile. I like versatile, efficient things. And then the robot itself, the robot mode looks fantastic. Just doing another 360 here. I wish I had a turntable, but it just looks fantastic. There's no car sticking off of this that doesn't look like just a part of the robot. There's a little bit of a gap here from the side, but you're almost never going to see it from basically any reasonable angle, at least that you can get him posed in. That's as far as his head turns. I usually like to make the head direction and the foot the direction he's looking in, that foot I like to line up with the head. And so that's as far as the head goes, so that's as far as I can turn him. But yeah, the robot is great. The car mode is great. The optional parts forming for the side view mirrors is great. You can leave them on the feet. You could put them on the arms. You could just put them in a bag, which is what I do. So, you know, you can find options for fun. I think everyone who collects Transformers can find something they like about this guy. And the transformation isn't too hard either. It's pretty simple. I kind of split it up a little bit because I like to do things kind of methodically, but realistically, you could completely transform the legs, and then transform the majority of the torso, and then transform the arms, and you'd be done, pretty much. So you don't have to do it all over the place like I did. You could do legs, torso, arms, done, in that order. I like to keep as much stuff tabbed in at once as possible, so you don't end up with spaghetti Transformers. You don't want that spaghetti engineering, as Jobby would put it. But if you liked the figure, like the video, if you like the video, like the video, if you like liking things like the video, go ahead and leave a comment if you think that the Unique Toys line is worth getting. If you have suggestions, if you just want to talk about how much you enjoyed your version of this figure, in the description below, I'm going to link my third-party KO playlists, also link in my Twitter and my Instagram, so that way, if you follow those, you'll see when I'm posting videos. I try to put a message up the day beforehand because I can't use the community tab on YouTube itself yet. And go ahead and subscribe so that way you can see more of my videos, and ring the notification bell if that's how you want to know I'm going to post something, but it's not about a day heads up like my Twitter and Instagram are. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.